Good evening. This evening we have the 80th Art Ćakula, Art Talk, and this evening we are happy to host a South African photographer, Mpumelelo Buthelezi. Mr. Buthelezi is a prolific photographer who exhibited in many solo and group exhibitions all around the globe. He also won prizes for his photography, and besides exhibiting, he often participates at artist residency. He completed his degree in photojournalism and documentary photography at the Market Photo Workshop in 2017 in Johannesburg, South Africa. And he's currently, or was a few weeks ago in Nigeria, as one of the 9 selected artists for the Young Contemporaries Bootcamp Artist Residency with Rele Arts Foundation and Rele Gallery. Among his exhibition, his first solo exhibition was at We Tilt Gallery in Italy. He also had a solo exhibition at Catalyst 360 Gallery in the UK. He exhibited his photographs at the Social Art Award in Germany, at the Kampala Photo Biennale 2022-21 in Uganda, Transitions Rotterdam Photo Festival, and Photo Festival Schiedam in the Netherlands. He was also took part in a Pack and Go travel exhibition 2 residency program with the Italian Embassy and Centro Luigi Di Sarro. He won a photography Heater B. Matera scholarship to study in New York. He was also part of the Text Me curatorial program with Media Arts Festival in Leeuwarden in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
How do you say it?
It's Leeuwarden.
Leeuwarden in the Netherlands. And thank you.
Welcome.
And he has also been on the artist residency with Sir Professor Zanele Muholi and Muholi Productions in KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. And he also won a lot of awards. He's the 2nd prize winner for Nikon Yellow Festival competition in 2018. His project received the praise at the Social Impact Award. In 2021, Mr. Buthelezi was awarded in the category the Best Photographer of the Year at the Northwest Media Awards. And he also, at the same year, received the Cassier Wells Award, which includes a residency artist program and a solo exhibition at the Back Factory Artist Studio in Johannesburg, South Africa. Mr. Buthelezi lives and works in Johannesburg, South Africa. And I want to say to you hello and welcome to our Ćakula.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have me.
And you this evening you're gonna tell us your about your work, your photography exhibition, Ukuzihlukanisa, which means in Zulu isolation. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah.
So should I do the slideshow? Okay.
Yeah, for sure. You can do the slideshow.
Okay. Should I start here or somewhere before, after?
No, it's all up to you. Whether you want to start from this image called Zimboze or from the beginning, it's perfectly fine, you know. So greetings everyone. It's a pleasure to have you all here. Thank you for taking your time and leave whatever that you're supposed to be doing to listen to my 2 cents knowledge of what I'm about to share in terms of my creative journey and this current independent body of work that's currently been ongoing. My name is Mpumelelo. My surname is Buthelezi, born and bred in Soweto, in a neighborhood called Pimville. As Lea has already read my bio, so I don't think I need to dwell much on having to introduce myself. So cool. The body of work started in 2019. Just late 2019, I was on a sabbatical break since I had left the newsroom space. I went for freelancing, because I kind of noticed that I needed shift in my artistic career because of when I was in the newsroom, I would work 9 to 5 and I couldn't get when I get opportunities to have a meeting with the gallery or if they want to exhibit my work, I couldn't juggle the two because of my editors and the company, was sort of beating around the bush with that. So I opted to go straight freelancing. Also, it was a personal choice and decision as well because of I did photojournalism and documentary photography, which deals with media. So it was 3 years experience in understanding how the newsroom works and how editors work, how photojournalists work, and then from there, I had to further leave the space and further develop my artistic career. And so that's why I opted freelancing because I saw that my name needs to get a validation in what I do in gallery spaces, in publications, in biennials, in art fair. Of which when I made that decision, everything just kind of started, with the support from artistic friends, people that look up to me, people that support my creative journey as well, who are still supportive of it now, So, and then from there, I always wondered how angels are depicted in the Bible, since I predominantly come from a Seventh-day Adventist family, which my religion is closest to Jewish. It's just that the difference is that we believe in the Old and the New Testament in the Bible. We still believe the second coming of Jesus Christ, and then from there, I kept on having questions and thoughts, and having self-reflection in terms of if human beings are always sinning and, angels are always depicted as perfect, they don't sin, they always bow down to God and everything, And then that kind of puzzled me, but I understand because of, how sin has impacted from heaven, and how Satan had to be thrown down to earth and then how Jesus had to die for our sins and everything. So it's quite difficult to be as perfect as the creator, but, in terms of biblical context, he says we should try, to be at least as perfect as him, So then the camera became a point of reference since I was not used to photographing myself, so this was a new creative challenge, and it still is, and I understand why human beings, I don't want to call them subjects, that they tend to shy away from the camera. It's a very daunting tool. It's a very intimidating tool. I still have those questions as well. The minute I plan the shoot and everything. And then fast forward, I started interpreting the normal approach of, angels are wearing the white cloths and white symbolizes purity in the Bible and everything, and then Lea, can you move the slideshow so long as I'm speaking? And then from there, when I think when I started the project, I kind of sensed that there was something that was coming, but I didn't think that COVID was going to be that thing. And so when COVID came, the body of work sort of became an extension, if I could put it like that, to further explore ideas of self-reflection, identity, spirituality, hence through black and white photographs, because I come from a color background. So black and white is a new medium and a new technique that I'm, trying out because of, I also think that as human beings, we don't think in color, we think in black and white, So when I received the Castillo Arts Award, I pitched the idea that I'm currently working on this body of work, and then they liked the idea, and then I further pushed it, So it's dealing with issues of masculinity and how Black bodies are represented in the Black society, because of, as men, we are told from our upbringing that we shouldn't limp, we shouldn't cry about our issues. You know, it's always this, you know, sort of facade that a man doesn't cry, you know, only women are the ones that cry. So with the help of my creative friends who are now part of the project, you know, we sort of share the very same sentiments in terms of issues that are affecting us as men and issues that are affecting us in terms of our identity as well, in terms of who we are, what is our core niche, you know. So the camera is that tool currently, and, you know, I'm specifically grateful with the turnout of how the project has sort of found itself in bigger spaces, in bigger galleries, you know. Recently, it just showed at Investec Art Fair, you know, and I was grateful for that opportunity when the gallery pitched that to me, you know, and how people were sort of receptive towards the work and the questions and sort of relatability, you know, that they have with what they see, because of we as African, or rather South African artists, aside time that we need to show the international audience and these spaces that say that these spaces are for all of us, but, you know, having to find an opportunity, we always have to struggle, you know. It's also advocating that with the work that we exist, we persist, we resist, you know. So then the rest of the images touches on masculinity, issues that are affecting us currently. Now we're working on doing few images about the whole Israeli and Palestine massacre and what's currently happening in Congo as well, you know, because of what we see on TV tabloids, you know, it's not actually what they are experiencing, you know, in real life. You know, if you could be in Gaza, then probably you'd have a different perception in terms of this war and everything, you know, but it's painful because of this is more of like a reflection of how, you know, 1976 uprising, apartheid, you know, although I'm not born in that era, you know, but looking at those images, you know, I didn't agree with those images. Hence also the medium of photography. Yes, we are tired of seeing images of our representation in these spaces, you know, poverty-stricken images or poverty porn or us suffering, you know. So this is more of like a nuance or rather karma effect, you know, that I'm trying to bring with the work, you know. Although the work is very personal, it touches on personal issues as well, you know, since I mentioned identity, masculinity and stuff, you know. So shadows as well, hence this picture that you're currently showing now, which symbolizes the light of the shadow. So in African cultures, shadows are a symbolism of your guidance. Like they're more of like a reference of angel. And when I sat down with my granny, when she started like alluding how rich and how significant my surname has in the Zulu tribe, it's also paying tribute to my family as well, you know, being born in the Buthelezi family lineage. It's praising them, you know, and also praising them in spaces that I didn't think the work is going to find itself, and getting the reception also from the audience, how they're receiving the work, you know. It's more of a validation that what you're doing, we are aware of it, we see it, you know, and hence also why I titled the work in my native language, to sort of like pay homage, to pay pride and respect, you know. So hence the image, it was derived from having a conversation with my granny and how as men, you know, we always shy away from the issues that are affecting us. We are not vocal about it because of the minute you become vocal about it, you labeled as weak, you know, you're not strong, because of we are raised in a manner or in a demeanor where a man is always strong, a man shouldn't limp, only women are the ones that have to cry about their issues and stuff, you know. So with me pointing the camera and with me having all these questions, it's, I guess a camera for me is more of like a tool that I'm using to sort of self-cleanse, self-heal, you know. And recently I've been photographing, but I was on a break because of, you know, sometimes it's good to, you know, just take a break from what you're doing to sort of like focus more on developing your craft and applying the importance of craftsmanship in the work that you do. You know, not saying don't be aware in terms of what's happening in the industry, you know, I am aware. It's just that certain things you need to take a break, you know, in order for you to get, or rather to source inspiration. So Mpumelelo, like as you pause on this image, it's the entry level point of me still having that, you know, dogmatic approach to how angels are depicted in the Bible. And I was like shocked of how, you know, each and every image turns out, you know. Sometimes when we plan a shoot with my creative friends, when I'm panicking, I don't show it to them because of they don't understand the medium, you know. Every image to them is like, oh, this image is good, it's perfect, it's seen. And I'm just like, no, just look at thoroughly, you know, there's a detail there, you know. So also it's applying the notion of perfectionism, you know, in portraiture, you know, although it's a very difficult medium as well to like master, you know, but every day it's a learning curve, you know. And if you're all about money or eyeballs, you know, then you cannot be complaining about capitalism, because of the principle are still the same, you know. It's just that the approach is different, you know. So mostly as artists, we are stuck in that notion that, you know, I want to be great, I want to be this, I want to be that. And then when we source inspiration from other artists that are actually doing the most, you know, one thing that we don't realize that they're also human, number one. In the position that they're holding, they're also affected by issues probably twice as bigger than the ones that I'm currently experiencing, you know. So it's a process, and it still is. I don't know if people want to hop in terms of questions.
I personally have one question.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't understand the names because it's all in Zulu. And there was the photo with the
veil. Which one? The veil. This one.
Yes.
So the title of this work is titled Engwele, meaning holier. You know, so also the approach and the use of certain materialistic metaphors as well. It's also trying to break down not only the same idea that I'm dealing with me depicting myself as an angel of God, it's also breaking stereotypes that nobody said that, you know, you cannot heal yourself, you know, with the veil, because of we grew up knowing that women are the only people that are, you know, allowed to wear the veil. So with my friend pictured in a veil, you know, he also finding himself in a spiritual realm, you know, in terms of the issues that are affecting him as well. He's also self-cleansing himself, but through also the medium of photography, and also exchanging a dialogue with issues that he might be experiencing because of the reason this image was captured. He was going through the most in terms of family, you know, and then we had to share and bounce off, you know. And then I proposed a veil that how about we infuse veil in further expanding, you know, this idea of what I'm trying to convey with the work.
Thank you. I have one more, but if anybody has a question about the pictures, please just.
I would like to say something, Lea. Thank you for having me as well. This is Emma from Cape Town. Good evening. I haven't got my camera on. We have a load shed at the moment, so it's pitch black here. But as Mpumelelo's gallerist in South Africa, I just think it's quite interesting to discuss the responses that we've had to showing the bodies of works. You know, we first started, I think, just over a year and a half ago, showing the Mpumalanga series from 2022, and there was a series about the waste collectors. And then subsequently started showing this body of works first in a series that we did at the gallery, which was quite an organic series. We do a group of exhibitions, sort of up and coming bodies of works called the Cubicle series twice a year, where we have younger, more experimental bodies of works that we put on in different sections of the gallery in January and in August. And we invited Mpumelelo to do an installation at the gallery And that was in January of this year, which was open to the general public and also just a very good time of the year for international collectors as well. And then subsequently, a month later, we put him on the Investec Cape Town Art Fair on our main booth. And in both instances, I think the response, has been incredibly genuine and heartfelt from the audience. First of all, not just in terms of the kind of formal structure of his photographs, which everyone can agree are very meticulously and crafted and beautifully put together, but also just in terms of the levels of sort of intricacy of narrative. So on the one hand, we have visitors that collect from all over the world, international collectors, international travelers, and then we also have the general kind of public coming in too. And in both instances, I think there's been a response to the tenderness of the work and the vulnerability of it, to discuss what Mpumelelo is discussing, the black gaze, the male black gaze, and the kind of emotionally sort of direct but very sensitive way in which he's made these photographs, coupled with obviously the formal references, immediately one goes to, Francisca Woodman and that kind of vulnerability that we saw in her personal work. It's been incredibly well received, and I think has affected a lot of people very directly, just by virtue of its tenderness as a form. So yeah, so the response has been incredibly favorable from many different people, and it hasn't just been individuals who can relate to it because they come from a similar background, although a lot of artists and a lot of young people have related to it. It's also just been, quite universal in its success. So congratulations, because I think it's a very, very strong body of works.
Thank you, Emma.
Thank you. Yeah. I have one more thank you, Emma, and can you translate this work?
Hey?
This work, can you translate it?
Translated how? Like into a different language or what?
Yeah, avala mehlo.
Oh, valameto is close your eyes.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so the title of this work was when Black Lives Matter was a huge thing in the US,
Yeah.
and how it had come to South Africa as well, and how we saw the brutality that Black people, were being victimized. It pains us, and hence different hands of covered with bandage, some with gloves, and him closing his facial because of he was going through an emotional state of seeing how Black people are being victimized in the US, and how also we became, because he was a subject of that as well, my friend. And then from there, when he shared that experience, it sort of like made a reference to sort of like articulate the image,
Thank you, because it's really interesting, and every picture has a story behind it.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. And sometimes, often as artists, we sort of like struggle with when to title the work, before doing the work or after doing the work, So it's an open discussion that I normally have with my friends and my artistic friends as well. But how I approach it is I visualize the image. Then when I visualize it, I jot it down, So that's how like my creative process sort of like goes on in every like body of work. I get research because of ideas that have been done before. It's just that how you do it, that's the only difference that's going to make it. If I'm speaking about masculinity, I need to look at research on and write up on masculinity. And then from there, after visualizing that, I bounce it up to my creative friends, and then from there, we take it from there. And then I tell them, this is how we go about, this is the idea that I have, and it's amazing. Some of the images were bounced off by some of my creative friends, like this is Andla. So this was a depiction of holy hands, that God is holier than thou. And then we sort of made a point of reference with our hands, that also with our hands, we regard them as holier than thou. Although we sin with them, we do bad things with them, but coming to the divinity and the spirituality, and connecting the higher power with the lower power, we sort of find divinity in that. So a friend of mine suggested that, how about we depict that, and then hence the creative direction of the image, the attention to detail, it's just on the hands. The rest of the foreground, the background, it's just like white. It's also bringing that spiritualism approach, hence some of the pictures are black, the background, some of the pictures are white. I don't want to move away from that narrative of bringing the dogmatic approach to, being holy, being holy, being sacred, being, coming to connect with your spiritual realm as well, so it's also like coming from that narrative.
Thank you. And I have a question. Do you people have any questions? Even
yeah, guys.
Yeah, because I would love to hear your feedback if you have something.
I have a question actually, although I haven't ever. I want to ask you about the different textures in the work,
Okay.
and obviously you have the human form, and you have lace, or I should say, sort of material. And then maybe you can discuss with us if this is relevant. You have the kind of the curtains and the plastic, but you also have the tinfoil. I don't know that if anyone's looked at that one now. So I suppose my question is, and this isn't a loaded question, but I'm just curious, is there a kind of hierarchy of texture in your work? And what I mean by that, when you look at the surfaces of the tinfoil versus the skin, or the clothes versus the skin, or the material versus, is one of the textures in your work more important than the others? Is like at the forefront, is it all about encapsulating the human form and the deity of the human form, or is it all kind of equal for you in your vision?
Okay, thanks for that question, Emma. In the beginning, it was more of like different use, or rather usage of the kind of textures and materiality in images. But as the body of work sort of expanded, and I was getting like feedback from showing to industry people and them having questions, I sort of like centralized, the usage of intentionality in every image in terms of texture, and infusing texture and human form, others infusing texture and not showing human form, just to break that stereotype, and just to open like a discussion in as much as you always probably wanted to ask me this question, so the work is not only for me, the work is for me, but not only for me. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's an open floor, with the work that I'm creating. It's you having to ask me these kind of questions, and it's me coming to my self-introspection self, in terms of you imposing this question that, oh, I didn't think of that when I was doing this image or these images, or when I was using this kind of material and stuff. But every image is intentional with the usage of the material that I use, and there's a symbolism behind that, it's not just me picking my shirt and just wearing it, it's me questioning, why am I picking the shirt? Why does the shirt need to be infused in the image, I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does. I just think sometimes it's quite interesting because, and it kind of comes back to what I was saying about the kind of universal resonance, and how it didn't matter who saw the work at the fair, or who's seen the work so far at the gallery. The response has always been the same. So obviously you are deep in investigation into the kinds of ideas and negotiations that you deal with. But yet somehow many of the works had this kind of silhouette, this human silhouette. So the conditions that you're discussing obviously are directly relating to your experiences and those experiences of, your family and your friends. And yet there is very often this sort of humanity to it. And I was just, that's why I thought the tinfoil specifically was quite an interesting one.
Thanks.
You wouldn't know that it was a Zulu person underneath
sure.
the tinfoil.
For sure. And also it's applying the usage of creativity as well, like also moving away from like the normal standard direction of that this is how a portrait is, this is how a portrait needs to be taken. Like, for example, I can take a shot of my hand. That can be a portrait, as long as it adds to the entirety of the body of work, or what is it that I'm trying to convey with the hand as well,
Yeah. And it is a very sort of, sub-Saharan African kind of dialect in that, often the unusual are used in order to describe things, like there's a real innovation in terms of materiality on this continent and experimenting, which often one doesn't find elsewhere.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, queries from the other people that are joining?
Yeah, I'm looking for a
specific image.
I can say something.
Okay.
First, thank you for this presentation. And I will just say, like Boris Božić sent us to chat that you get, maybe you know already, but you get prize in Croatia in this exhibition in Rijeka. So congratulations for this prize.
Ivana, možeš li pokazati tu, neka vide svi pohvalu?
Probat ćemo, just a second.
Samo sekundu.
Ili možeš ti? Jel možeš ti, Lea?
Znači, da. Does anybody else, just a moment, samo sekundu, does anybody else have questions about this series? No, okay. So Boris Božić asked me to show you all. So just a moment.
Sure.
I'm now looking for it. Oprostite, ali samo ja sam spora malo u tome. Okay. Share. Sada. Okay. No, ne mogu.
Okay. I will try. Wait.
Okay.
Just a second.
You just share, because Mpumelelo Buthelezi had an exhibition here in Rijeka, and he won a prize, and Mr. Borislav Božić wanted us to share the photo. So
sure.
Wait, little bit.
My computer doesn't let me.
No problem.
Just a second, that take one moment. Yes, I will open it now. Zoom back to you guys. Okay. Now, yes. So, can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
But you don't see.
Oh, nice.
Did you see diploma?
Yes.
Okay, so this is it.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, and I have comment. You have perfect photography. So I don't know which is better. I think they are so powerful, and it's good to that you translate to us, because we cannot speak your language. And I cannot remember all name, but it's something like Indoda.
Oh, yeah. Indoda is it symbolizes man. So,
okay.
So if you are a man,
I like it. Yeah, it's Lea, if you can show it, just second.
But also
stop share. Yeah.
But also there's a huge responsibility as well, of being called Indoda. Hence I touched on issues of masculinity and how Black bodies are represented, because of it's a huge responsibility, that lies with us as men, and often women also, we always victimize them as well.
This
violence,
it's something special.
The reason why also he's not covered and uncovered is because of us trying to break this whole stereotypical of being a man, indoda, you know, what is the definition of indoda, you know, and he has issues. He's not perfect as well, you know, and it was that kind of a discussion, hence him like shying away, not wanting to reveal his facial features. It's because of the issues that we go through as men, you know. Most men, they are not vocal, hence that's why they commit suicide about issues that they've committed as well. You know, the minute they blurb about it, you know, to the family, it's like the thing, where have you seen that? The thing is not done. This is not how you were taught. Da 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 da. You know, so it's a man that shies away when you translate the title into English. So hence that's why he's uncovered and his hands are covering his face.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
And congratulations once again.
Yeah, all your works are very, very deep, very,
Thank
very
you.
deep. They have like a lot of meanings. And I was wondering, there was one picture that was like in contrast to everything else, this one.
Oh, okay.
Because like all the other pictures, like the figure is the main subject and it's in the whole picture. And this is the only one which is in, it has a background, it's in a kitchen or dining hall, and it's different.
The living room, yeah. I pictured in, so all images are taken in this background that you see, you know. I've transformed my bedroom into a studio room, you know, but sometimes I move around in the house, you know, and take some of the images in different rooms because of the usage of lighting as well. I'm drawn to lighting now. When taking pictures, I love lights, and light is a very difficult thing to master as well, you know. And this, I was interpreting the 12 disciples when Judas betrayed Jesus, when it was Holy Communion, and they were cleansing their sins and everything. And Jesus asked before they were about to feast, you know, according to the biblical doctrines, that is anyone going to betray me? You know, and all the disciples said no. And Jesus knew, and the person that washed him and cleansed him betrayed him, you know. So when it's an iconic, it comes from the iconic painting that we've seen in Catholic churches of, you know, the 12 disciples sitting at the table. So it was a point of reference that I had to make for myself as well, that if I was one of the disciples, you know, partaking in the Holy Communion during those times, was I going to also be the one that was going to betray, you know, the Heavenly Father, you know? So with me picturing myself, it was a reference from that, you know? Hence, that's why I didn't involve other people in the empty chairs, you know? I wanted to make myself, you know, an image reference, you know? And then when people ask me, that's where I allude on the story that the reason why I title the title of this artwork, Ingilosi Engcwele, meaning an angel that's holy, you know? So by me sitting at the table, covered with the black cloths, you know, it was me saying, I am holy, you know?
Thank you. Thank
Welcome.
you. Mr. Buthelezi, you said that you have also other new works. Would you like to share with us from this?
Yeah, for sure. I can share some of the images.
Yeah. I will stop my share. Okay. So because we would like to see them because it's like really, really beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, just a sec. Because some you've already shown, some you haven't. So
Oh.
Okay, tell me if you guys can see the image.
Yes, it was better before because it's now on the whole. Okay.
Is it showing full screen?
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So, this is a certain cloth that my granny told me about when it's Holy Communion at church, that the usage of this materiality is to connect spiritually and find divinity, you know, with the higher power whenever you're about to partake, you know, for the Holy Sacrament. So this is my hands, you know, folded, you know, underneath the cloth, you know, and the reason why I took this picture, you know, is also for the audience when, you know, I'm exhibiting the work, you know, to sort of give the form of feedback, you know, although sometimes I change images depending on the usage and rather the relevancy of why this work is shown at this space. You know, it's having an open floor discussion from the audience, as Emma has said, that's the response, you know, from people looking at the work, you know, they sort of see themselves, some say they want to hide, you know, also under the cloth, you know, so it was that. This is paying homage.
I'm sorry, I have to stop you a moment. Can you, because I think that my computer, I don't, this is better. I can see it better now.
Okay.
Can you show it like this?
Okay.
Yes.
No problem.
Thank you.
You know, this is also advocacy of masculinity, that as men, or rather as boys, you know, we need to create ecosystems, you know, that will further, you know, further us, you know, in becoming, you know, what the society, you know, sort of personifies us to become, you know, it's opening that open floor, you know, and praising the importance of friendship and brotherhood as well, you know. Hence my creative friends are part of the project as well. Now they not fully understand, but they get the idea in terms of what is it that, you know, I'm trying to say with the work, you know. And every time when we photograph, you know, it's questions, it's relatability, it's things that are affecting us, it's things that we see, you know, in TV tabloids in the world, you know, and it's also coming back to us and haunting us and saying, what do you guys think? Why is this happening? You know, why is Congo currently being bombed and all those kind of things, you know? And it's having those questions and open floor amongst them, and then coming to a realization whereby, is there something that we can create that can be relatable, you know, since we've taken some of the images? And then we plan, we source materials, you know. If I don't have something, I tell them, can we hustle this? Sometimes you go hire props, you know, at furniture stores, and, you know, because of, we cannot be using one materiality in every image. Like this, we use the curtain, you know, because my granny used to sew, but, you know, some of the things that she doesn't use, but it's also applying that angelic effect, different from the black and white images as well, you know. So sometimes, I don't know if you guys noticed, most of the images, we are covered, some we are visible. There's also a reason behind that, because of, we took the approach that when we cover ourselves with a certain usage of a certain material, it's each and every one connecting to the higher power and finding self cleansing with themselves or the issues that are affecting us. You know, had me behind the curtain, you know, but not actually showing, you know, like a human figure that you can actually tell that this is a person, but like approaching it in a different, you know, also some of the images are blurry because of when we dream and when we think, we often have blurry visions, you know, and bringing them into bringing them into substance, you know, it's also a tricky approach, because of we often dream, and when we dream, sometimes we don't realize that we were dreaming or you were thinking, you know. Like the creative approach of, you know, infusing balloons, but also showing like a side figure of the male gaze. You know, this is taken inside the bathtub. The usage of tires, you know, because of this is a symbolism of, you know, like back in the days, you know, like when you did something wrong in the Black society, you would be banished, you know, so the people used to burn you with tires, you know, like sometimes people didn't even do anything wrong, but they were accused, you know, that so and so tried to molest this woman, or you would be banished, you know. So it's also an approach of that, you know. Also, the jump starters of the car as well, you know, they would discipline you like that, you know, back in the days in society, if you did anything wrong or you were trying to molest someone, you know. But this was in Nigeria on a residency, trying to find, you know, any material that can sort of bounce off to the development of the work. And this cloth, when I picked it up, you know, I asked the hotel managers that, why did you use a specific like cloths? And then they told me that it's one of like Nigerians exquisite fabric, you know, which they use, you know, in terms of designing like bedding stuff and da 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 da, you know. So it became a point of reference as well, that me using this form of material, sorry, in me trying to cover myself, you know, what impact or what outcome would it have, you know. Also trying to bring the creative approach into images as well. This is a symbolism of initiation as well, you know. I'm fortunate enough that I never went to initiation because of my surname as well. And some of the surnames or some of the cultures in Zulu, they take them to initiation, but mostly it's done in Xhosa, you know. So Xhosa is a different language, because of we have, I think, 30 now official languages since they added Swahili, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in South Africa. So there's 9 official African languages, then it's English, then Afrikaans, because of how the Dutch colonized us and blah, 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 blah. So this was also paying pride and homage to my initiation brothers, you know, and the stories that they always share with us, that they are like, being a man, it's instilled in you, it's emphasized, you know. There's also issues in terms of circumcision and everything, but I don't want to go much on that, because of it will be showing disrespectful as well into the Zulu culture about speaking, you know, about the whole initiation and stuff. This was me in Cape Town when I received the Social Impact Awards, just trying to use the space and trying to find certain material that could tie in and add into the continuation of the work as well, you know. This is in Nigeria. This was also taken in Nigeria as well. I photographed this image at night. It was during, I think, in the early hours of the night, around about 12 to 1 a.m. The reason you see double exposure, just the position, it's also applying different techniques as well in storytelling, you know, in portraiture as well. And I haven't taken images at night, you know, so I came with questions during the residency that how can I define myself as an angel at night? Because of angels are always protecting us, hence shadows as well. They still give me goosebumps, you know, shadows, you know, because of they always creep me and freak me out, you know. So it was me trying to also bring that approach as well, you know, that since I'm used to taking images during the day or in the hours, you know, how about I depict myself as well as an angel at night, but not like sticking to that, you know, one approach that, you know, in all the images, it looks like you are stage or, you know. Yeah,
I wanted to say just like looking at it, you have beautiful like textures and the surfaces are beautiful. And this is completely in material. It doesn't have like it doesn't have any surfaces. And it's the last picture that you show.
Yeah.
So it's a big contrast to all the other photographs.
Yeah, it's also like, as I said, like playing with the different technique, you know, in my approach to the work as well, you know, not like just like staging all images and just say, stand here, the lighting is great, be like this, pose like this and everything, you know. And thanks for bringing that, you know, and for seeing that as well. This is an approach of just me self-praising myself, you know, with all the things that, you know, I am receiving, you know, in terms of my creative career, you know, but also still having those questions, you know, that what is the relevancy of this work? How can I be relevant in exhibiting this work in different spaces, you know? This was also part of the masculinity. So if you notice, all the images are taken indoor besides this and these ones, because of this was the literal approach that I haven't photographed at night. I just want to see the effects that it will take away from the narrative that I'm trying to convey with the work, or still like tie in with the narrative. And then this was shot during the day outside as well. You know, this was shot in the early stages of COVID, you know. Yeah, this is early, like I think 2020, 2022, early when we were on level 4, I think, yeah, you know. And it was after like taking self-portrait of myself, the black and white, pictured with me with the white clouds, you know, and the background is black. Those were the angelic effect. But this was like now moving out of my comfortable zone and saying, how can nature also be relevant, you know, to us as human beings and to this work as well, you know? Would it accompany us? Would it tie into the narrative that we're saying, you know? This is, so I use bubble wrap. So in the other image, you saw the bubble wrap, but that image of my friend Wandile was a symbolism of COVID, you know, like hence the mask and everything. This is a different interpretation of that image, you know. It was him suffocating, you know, because of he has asthma, you know, and he was always questioned and booed and, you know, and his friends. Yeah,
because
his
he was
friends.
out of the norm.
Yeah,
What we should do.
you know, so this is an approach to an angelic figure. And these works that I've shown you, like this is titled. These other ones, okay, these ones are titled as well. The others I haven't titled them, you know. I haven't titled them because of also it's an issue. When is it right for you to title the work, you know, when you are showing or before, you know, but all the images have different titles on the basis of an experience or what's currently affecting us or what we think it's relevant, you know. It's activism, it's identity, it's masculinity, you know, it's advocacy.
And it's one other thing that I noticed. There are no females in the photos.
Yeah. There's a reason for that as well, because of we are dealing with 4 or 5 thematic issues, which is identity, vulnerability, masculinity, unpacking the stereotypical of what a man is, you know. We are also saying to females, not only men are trash, you know, there's certain men who are not trash as well, you know. It's also creating that dialogue as well. And thanks for picking that up, that you notice that most in the images is strictly me, my friends, or
Well, I think that's really important because I think that, you know, you're not trying to occupy a space that isn't your space.
Yeah.
You know, you're viewing it through your lens. And I think that that's also part of the idea of kind of reimagining the male, the vulnerable, you know, emotional aspects of being a man. You know, it's not being seen through another's gaze, it's being seen through those that are living that experience.
And some of the images I would just like go through past if you guys have questions, and you know, just to not waste time. This was shot during the residency, yeah, when I did my first residency with Moholi. And then yeah, it was also like exchanging, you know, knowledge in terms of how you want to further the work, you know, what is it that you're trying to say with the work, you know. Although some people tend to find a reference, you know, when they see the image, like, oh, you know, but Moholi speaking about LGBTQI, you know, activism and stuff. I'm speaking about masculinity, you know, Black bodies, men, and da 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 da. This was also, you see, when I spoke about few things, when I made a point of reference about how men used to get banished, you know, back in the days if we did something wrong and everything, you know. So my friend who's pictured in white cloth, you know, that is wrapped, you know, with a cotton wool, you know. It was also like trying to, you know, make a point of reference, you know, like people that who are aware in terms of how apartheid affected them back in the days, you know, they sort of find like point of reference in terms of, oh, this is, you know, reminds me of back in the days how if a man did something wrong, you know, they would be stripped, you know, in public, you know, and be banished or be hit with shambles, or, you know, they shoot you to death, all those kind of things, you know. Also, this image is a reference point of that as well. And then, yeah, I think.
And there are a lot of pictures.
You didn't see this one.
So, and it's the masks.
Yeah, we incorporated masks because of suffocation and how we are always suffocated with issues as men, you know. Hence, the mask also trying to sort of pay homage rather, to COVID. I'm grateful for that period, although we've lost loved ones, but if it wasn't for that, probably this period was not going to be alive or developed. It also questioned me about my sense of longing, and my sense of belonging as well, and it sort of like broke, this TLC kind of approach, to like detaching, from your loved ones, and it was a very painful experience. I think artists who haven't created work during COVID or that's in relation to COVID, also I don't blame them as well. It was a very difficult, or rather precarious era for our times, when they think of that, some people limp like myself, so, but then it's me, it sort of birthed me, to sort of question myself, because in my photography, it was not about me, it was people, but now this work is a point of reference to question my sense of identity, who I am, what's my value, it's also all these kind of questions that tend to gravel, in my thoughts or in my sense of thinking, because of what you see you might not like. Because my niece, like, she always says when she sees these images, oh, they're so scary, they're so painful, that's the approach that she's seeing, and I cannot dispute that. She's seeing pain in the images. Other people are seeing comfort, other people are seeing discomfort as well, so other people are finding healing, so also with you guys, probably you guys have different interpretations as well when looking at these images, some you find relatability, some,
Yeah, and we can see all this, a lot of these images on your social media also, right?
Not all.
Not
Also,
all?
yeah, also because of now, since I'm with the gallery and stuff, so I cannot expose everything on social media as well,
Okay.
because of copyright infringement and and everything, but also it's also a personal choice as well, I'm creating work for people to actually see the work in different spaces, but not only show the work only on Instagram or on Facebook. I do share some just to my audience to be aware about what is it that I'm currently doing, because of also visibility is important as well, as an artist, but I don't show everything.
So I have a question, one more question. When you said that it's important to put your pictures in the space. When you do an exhibition, when you exhibit them, how big are they? Are they big? Are they small? Are they intimate? Or are they big so you can enter into the space of the picture?
So how I work, since now I'm fitting into gallery spaces, although I have 3 solo shows so far, I don't curate my shows exactly how I curated my previous show, because of how the body of work that I'm showing in that space, I question the people that I work with in terms of how the body of work will find, its relevancy, and I often play with different sizes also to give the audience a different perspective, that you can zoom in, you can zoom out, it's not dealing with one size, in terms of displaying the work, and also playing with that creativity of how to display the work is also important as well, as an artist. Personally, that's what I think. But how I've exhibited my cubicle series with the gallery, and how I would exhibit the solo show, when that opportunity comes with the gallery. It'll totally be different from how I've exhibited it with the cubicle series, you know, earlier. So it's also opening also like feedback, you know, like I always tell people that you must have a welcoming attitude, you know, towards feedback and criticism, you know, especially dealing with industry experts, people that have been in the industry for over like 2 decades or something, you know, they more experienced in terms of looking at what art is or art in general, you know. Also, you must also have that welcoming, you know, attitude to learn, to be questioned as well, you know, because of often most artists, we hate being questioned, or we hate being like asked questions and stuff, you know, but it's all part of the process, you know. It's also part of you being questioned about what is it that you're trying to tell that particular person who's looking at what they're looking, you know. So it's always that I always like give advice to young emerging creatives like myself, you know, in the industry, that, you know, focus on mastering the importance of your craft, you know, and dealing with like, you know, this medium, you know, until this medium puts you where you want to be in terms of the objective. Then you can try expanding, you know, your medium and infusing sculpture or something, you know, just making a prime example. But it's that, because also I don't agree to every show as well, due to personal reasons, sorry, of this work as well, you know. And also I question people that want to show the work, that, you know, how relevant is this work, you know, in your space, you know, and why do you want to show the work, you know, why can't you show, you know. And if they're not fairly descriptive in terms of their response, in terms of why they want to work with me or to show the work, then I don't take that opportunity, you know. And it's not that I'm trying to sound all self-confident or, you know, a bit cocky and stuff, but also it's questioning, you know, like, how will I be different from other artists who are also trying to, you know, advocate this formal question, you know, in their art, because of that's very important. Like, what formal question are you trying to address, you know, in the work that you're showing, you know. And
that's important for artists to know what they're doing and why they are doing it. And I think that Ivana Egic also wanted to ask you a question.
Okay.
I asked everything what I had, and I gave a comment. But I think Ivana Kutuzovic, she said in chat that she will get some comments, but if she won't, it's okay. And then I think also we can slowly finish this presentation, formal part, and then we can talk a little bit informally.
Yeah, because we have questions.
Yep.
Ivana.
I've decided to stop sharing my screen. I don't know.
Yes, okay. Unmute yourself, Ivana.
Okay, do you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't come at the beginning of your introduction, so I tried to catch up all of your works while you were speaking. But as I see, you have a lot of contrasts in your work. I really like your aesthetics. It's like in black and white. It's on the edge of abstract and figuration, as I said, as I saw. And I really like that, but on the last pictures that you showed us, the last series, I don't know, maybe it is the last, as Lea said, I saw you have a lot of blurred pictures. It looks like you have like intentions of sight sharpening, like to see what is behind your work, what is going on behind those pictures, why they are blurred, why they are not sharp as previous ones. And I really like those connotations. I'm not sure, but maybe is it more like a social political background, or it's more spiritual or religious background?
It's so some of the images that are blurry, it's more trying to approach the spiritual realm, you know, in my divinity, trying to connect, you know, with the source, because I haven't seen the source. You know, we are painted that a source is like this and everything, you know, So with the black and white images that are out of focus, there's intention for that as well, that I was having very visions, you know, trying to depict this kind of an image, but then it didn't come out the way like I had anticipated it in my dreams, because of we often dream, but what are our dreams to fools, you know? We all have dreams, you know, but I like that you've picked that up, you know, because of it's me coming to like my holy, you know, corner, or rather, how can I put it, my sacred place, you know, with God, you know, and yeah.
So the God is very important in your life and in your work.
Yeah, like seems
Okay.
good. Yeah, like yeah.
I really like it, and thank you for sharing your body of work with the art ćakula and all the viewers. I think it's really interesting, and congratulations for your award.
Thank you.
So I would also thank you, Mr. Buthelezi, for being our guest. And in a few days, we will put the video of our ćakula. Thank the gallery MAV for all your questions also. And this is the end of the official end of the 80th art ćakula, where Mr. Mpumelelo Buthelezi talked about his work Ukuzihlukanisa, which means isolation.
Thank you.